Hey YouTube, Metal Skin Studios here. I was thinking, for the past year, I've been going from different channels to different channels on YouTube, um, and I've met some very interesting people. I've I wanted to give a shout out to some of the people whom I thought were outstanding in terms of their contribution. People such as Rhyme Maiden, Claire, or Aaron Raw, or Phil Helleneth. Um, those people have really opened my eyes on quite a few things. But at the same time, I've met some true assholes. From Nephilim Free to Fang X to Dawa Films or Sami Zatari. And I was thinking about religious fundamentalists, religious fundies. And I was wondering, when these people consider themselves rational and give the excuse that everything bad with their religion is because of extremists, their attempts to shift the blame or justify it by placing the onus on extremists. So I started wondering, what's the difference between an extremist and a moderate? I mean, is the extremist the person who kills the abortion doctor, and a moderate the one that only votes for the politician that comes out in support of an anti-abortion law? Is the extremist the one who kills the cartoonist, and the moderate the individual that supports an imam who encourages violence against those who depict Muhammad? So I guess what I'm wondering is, do you really have to kill someone in order to be considered an extremist? Can you be considered an extremist for reasons other than killing people? For example, if you're Catholic or a Christian and you deny homosexuals, gays, lesbians, transgenders the same rights in terms of civil union, marriage, benefits, and so on, are you being a moderate or are you an extremist? And I guess the definition of who's an extremist and who's a moderate would vary depending on who you ask. I guess if you ask a suicide bomber what's his definition of an extremist, you probably get something a lot different than if you ask an atheist or I don't know. But I guess my question is as well, when it comes to creationists who try and have creationism taught inside the classroom, the science classroom, if these people are the extremists, what are the moderates? Are there creationists who believe that creationism shouldn't be taught in science classes? If you are a Muslim and you are lobbying for the recognition of Sharia law within a secular society where you live, well, if that's being extreme, what are the moderates doing? Are there moderates who think that Sharia law should not even be suggested within a secular society? So I've never heard that point. I've never heard the creationists say, "Oh, I don't think it should be taught within the science classroom." I've never heard the Muslims say, "It's okay if you draw Muhammad because you're not Muslim and you don't have to abide by my faith's rules and dogmas." I don't hear that discourse. As I was saying, I've been going around YouTube for a year now, and I haven't heard that discourse. So, I guess what I'm asking is there such a thing as a moderate? And if so, where do they stand? I mean, I will agree to a certain extent that not everyone within the faith are extremists. But if the extremists are the loudest voice to come out of that faith, isn't it reasonable to assume that the moderates are not drowning out the extremism with their moderate um, realism, or I don't know how you would call it, but their moderate stance on things? So, if you have any ideas, um, if you consider yourself a religious moderate, would you care to let us know what makes you a moderate versus what would be an extremist to you within your faith? Where do you draw the line? When do you stop being a moderate and when do you start being an extremist? Let's have that conversation. Let's start defining that before we move on to something else. This is Metal Skin Studios, signing off saying, take her easy. I'll see you later.